Hey gaming fans, so today's another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for the Genesys format, and this one is Ojama Lockdown. Now, first of all, the reason why this is playable in this format is because if you play it in a regular format, the links would just mess you up. So this format obviously doesn't have link monsters, so you don't really have that fear. Anyways, the concept of this deck is to completely lock out your opponent's monster zone and also prevent them from playing anything. So let's get to the build. So we got the main characters of this build are the Ojama trios. You special summon 3 Ojama tokens to your opponent's side of the field. They cannot tribute those monsters for a tribute summon, so they literally just sit there clogging up your opponent's field. So that's 3, and then we play the 3 Ojama duo to completely lock your opponent's field. So basically this does the same thing, it just summons 2 Ojama tokens. So the goal of this deck is to get both these cards into your hand and then activate them on your opponent's turn, officially locking your opponent from playing any monsters. Then to be really mean, we're going to play an old card, Spatial Collapse. So if you were to draw these 3 cards, Ojama Trio, Ojama Duel, and Spatial Collapse, you're pretty much stopping your opponent from doing anything. You can only activate this card when both you and your opponent each have 5 or less cards on the field. As long as this card remains face up on the field, the total number of cards each player can have is 5. So your opponent would have the 5 Ojama tokens, and they won't be able to play anything. So at this point, your opponent would pretty much just concede. So to get to this combo, we're going to need to get to these traps really fast. So we got 3 Lilith, Lady of Lament. To go back to the Ojama cards, each of these cards for points value in Genesis, 3 for the Ojama trio each, and 2 for the duo. So they don't cost much. So we got 3 Lady of Lament. If it's normal summon, its original attack becomes 1,000. You contribute 1 dark monster, which is itself, to reveal 3 normal traps from your deck. Your opponent randomly chooses one for you to set to the field, and you choose the rest to put back in your deck. So you're going to go after your main combo pieces, whatever you didn't draw in your opening hand, to grab that specific trap. Then, of course, we have to play 3 Trap Trick. Same idea. This is going to grab the trap you need. Banish 1 normal trap from your deck, except Trap Trick. If you do, set 1 card with the same name directly from your deck. It can be activated this turn. You can only activate 1 Trap Trick once per turn. So you're going to obviously grab your combo pieces to get their effects off. Straighten this out here a bit. Then we need lots of draw power. So we're going to go with 3 Pot of Duality. So you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, put 1 of them in your hand, and the rest back into the deck. So you're obviously using this to fish for your combo. And because we have room for 2 Pot of Greeds, which is going to take up a lot of your points, of course. It's like, I think it's 30 points for Pot. So that's 60, plus you got your Ojama cards. I believe that's it for points in this deck. You could also play Pot of Extravagance if you want. I just decided to go with the Pot of Greeds, because why not? Draw the 2 cards. You're going to get to your combo pieces really fast. Then, if you do start to lock your opponent down, you want to start drawing some more cards. Let's go old school. Takes me back to the GOAT format with the Deslocuta. Basically, you flip this thing every turn and you draw a card. And because we have a draw engine, we could afford to play cards like Offerings of the Doomed. So I got 3 of these. It's a spot removal, destroy a face-up monster, skip your next draw phase. But we do draw a lot of cards in this deck, so we can afford it. You need this because if you go second, your opponents can start putting monsters on the board that you need to remove. So we need to get rid of those monsters so we can slam those Ojama trios. Unless the monster they summon is like a tiny little guy that you don't worry about. Other than that, you need to get rid of those monsters. And so we have spot removal here. So if they summon 1 or 2 monsters, hopefully you can get rid of them. Same thing with Compulse, which is also a trap that you can search out if you need it. Just to bounce the monster back to their hand. disrupt their play so you can get the field back open to start clogging up with Ojama tokens. Then if they have some nasty card effects from their hand or field for whatever, I put recall in here. When your opponent activates a monster effect, your opponent draws a card, then negate the effect and then destroy it. So this can help if your opponent tries to, say, play Effect Veiler or something like that that can really stop you, or a Drolling Lockbird or whatever, to try and stop you from getting to your combo. I mean, you could substitute that with any other counter traps you like. I just thought that this would be good. And of course, the other one, I forgot this one also is points too. This is 7 points each. Your Solemn Judgments. So this is just your basic Say No card, just to stop your opponent from trying to get out of your combo. Then, because we've just literally locked our opponent, we need to kill them somehow, without having to wait for them to deck out or whatever. So I thought, let's go back to the old school Stealth Birds. You can flip this card face down to defense position. Once per turn during your main phase, when this card's flipped summoned, you get to inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. So the reason why I went with these cards, these flippy cards, is because you don't want your opponent to Ojama trio, like turn their Ojamas into attack mode and then attack into any monsters you might have on the field. So these all flip face down, so they can't really do anything. They can't attack them. And like I said, you want to try and prevent them from playing like an Effect Veiler. So, you know, because say you flip your Stealth Bird, then they Effect Veiler it, and then you can't flip it back down again. So you're going to have to like try and prevent that with recall, or if you have to, destroy your own face-up card, or compulse it back to your hand, just to make sure they don't turn those Ojama tokens into attack mode and then attack your monsters. Then for the final finishing of damage, we play Wave Motion. So basically, if you get your combo set up the way it's supposed to go, if you get that spatial collapse and they can't use their monster zones, they can't play any cards, play your Wave Motion cannon, they know it's over. It's going to happen. Anyways, this is kind of a nasty deck. I'm sure it could get disrupted, but it's just one of those fun decks to just try and, you know, worm your way into a match that your opponent cannot do anything, thanks to these 3 trap cards. Anyways, let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below. Hope you subscribe. We'll talk to you later.